Hafa. You're watching My Story. I'm Kate Baltazar, your host, and we are here at the gorgeous Hyatt Regency Guam. Join me at El Dente with Amy Caston, caregiver to her mother, cancer warrior, Bernie. Join me as another episode of My Story continues. Hafa. Thank you for tuning in to My Story. I'm Kate Baltazar, your host, and I'm here with a very, very special young lady, Amy Caston. Hafa, Amy. As we talk about her journey as a caregiver in memory of her mother, Bernie. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Miss Kate.
So tell us about your journey with your mom from the onset of when she was diagnosed.
So last year, 2018, January, right, March, so 2 months after she had turned 60, she had a stroke from what the doctors had told us.
Wow.
So the journey started in March. After a while, her condition, as I noticed, started to change. And then I mentioned to my dad and my sister that we needed to get her checked up again. We went in, got her blood tests, her CAT scan done again. There was a lot of change in conditions in her. Her slur in her talk, the way she walked, and the way she talked.
I could see how that could be mistaken for a stroke.
Yes.
Similar symptoms.
So in June, we did another test. So when the radiology people called, they said that you need to go see your doctor about these results. So they went to the doctor. The doctor had said that I need to evac you. Either there are options in the States or in Philippines. So we choose Philippines, which was closer.
Yes.
Because of budget, you know.
Of course.
When, so it was around, I want to say, end of August. They went, my father, my sister, and my aunt had went to the Philippines. They were only going there for a biopsy, you know, to see what stage she was, or to see what was, you know, the status on it. Once they got into the surgery room, they opened her up. They had saw that it was a stage 4 and the cancer had spread. So from there, that was about September, they took about 80% of it out. When she came back around, I want to say October, because she had to stay there to heal up, a lot of her conditions changed. She started going downhill. She couldn't walk anymore. She couldn't talk. She couldn't eat. So November, she was bedridden. We had to do the hardest thing in, sorry.
Okay.
Sure, I know. Sorry.
It's okay.
Hospice.
And this was home hospice.
Yes.
So did she have a caregiver?
At the time, it was a nurse that was coming once a week, but it was usually me and my dad who would change her, feed her through the feeding tube.
Yes.
And do her dressing, because she had bed sores.
I see.
And then that was November, December. Then
Then we lost her January 8th, about 5:30 in the morning. Sorry, Miss Kate.
Okay. It's okay. So in this journey that that you and your family were going through, I'm sure that your whole family was affected, not just you, your dad. You know, you mentioned you have twins.
My twins, I have two brothers, actually three brothers. One that's here just has a disability. My brother who's in the Air Force. My brother who's in California, a vet, also in the Navy. It was very hard for them. In that year that she got sick, they came home to visit her, spend time with her before, you know, she passed on. They got to say, you know, their goodbyes. They we all told our mom that we loved her, try to be strong, get better. We told her everything that she wanted, you know, to hear before she left. The hardest one was my youngest brother. I mean, the one after me that's in the Air Force. He couldn't really come because his wife was about to give birth. But the night before she died, he told my mom over the phone, "It's okay, Mom, go rest." The next morning, that's when she passed. I think she was just waiting for all of our blessing.
She wanted to know you were okay.
That we're okay, that she was, you know, she's okay to go. So that was the hardest one because that morning I called him hysterical, crying that Mom had passed. And I called my brother that's in California. And we just all cried and had a hard time because we all feel, you know, guilty that we didn't get to spend a lot of time with her when she was still alive.
You mentioned when she was still alive. What are your fondest memories of her?
She would always call me and say, "When are we going bingo?"
So she liked to go to bingo.
And I didn't have the time because I had my kids and I was working.
Yes.
Which was now I regret a lot. I did go with her. We went to get our nails done about once or twice. I went to go visit her a lot. She would tell me to buy her pugot. She was a big pugot chewer. Sorry. My other fondest memory of her is when we just went out to the store, when I took her to the store. And she wasn't a mom that would tell me in words. She was always writing it on my Facebook page. That you're my only girl, that I love you, don't worry. Mom's always here no matter what. She would also post, say, "When are you coming to visit me?" Don't let anybody ever step on you. Always, you know, fight for yourself. And she always said she'll have my back no matter what. So their fondest memories, every time I had a hard time, a problem, she was always there to answer the phone no matter what time. Now I don't know who to turn to because my mom was the easiest one to talk to.
Yeah. How about your children? How did you explain to them?
Oh my God.
Do they have kind of a general understanding? I'm sure they knew.
They do.
Did you bring them to see her?
I did. I told them Grandma's sleeping with the angels. It's with baby Jesus.
Yes.
When they asked, "Is Grandma okay? Grandma's in pain?" No, I told them Grandma's up in the clouds watching us. And so every time they see the clouds, they always say, "Oh, there's grandma."
Mm-hmm.
Especially my daughter. My daughter was my mom was fond of my daughter a lot. She would always watch her, and she would. She understood. She understood even though she was like 4 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like grandma's resting.
I think kids have a sense
Yeah.
more than we give them credit for when these things are kind of, we think that
They don't understand.
they don't understand, but I think they have their own special intuition when these things happen.
She knows where grandma's place is at the memorial park.
Uh-huh.
She's resting at Ledza, that's how you say it. So whenever there's a flower she sees, says, "Let's go take it to grandma's place,"
Wow, that's so wonderful.
which makes me cry a lot. Like I don't make her see me cry.
Mm-hmm.
So she understands fully where my mom is and where grandma is at. My son, on the other hand, has a little bit a hard time because he's special needs, but he kind of gets the perspective of it.
Mm-hmm.
But they know grandma's place.
That's wonderful. Well, Amy, it has been such a privilege to hear your story this far. When we come back, we'll hear more from Amy and her special journey as a caregiver for her mom, cancer warrior Bernie. Stay tuned. Half a day and welcome back to My Story. I'm Kate Baltazar, your host, and we're back with Amy Caston, who is sharing her story as a caregiver for her mom, Bernie. Amy, share with us a little bit about your story. So I know that we talked a little bit about your mom and her cancer journey, and she fought such a tremendous fight. I'd like to shift a little bit now and talk about you and your journey as a caregiver for someone who was battling cancer.
I had to be strong. I wasn't showing her that I was emotional. I was taking care of her like a daughter would. But also that's my profession. I'm a nursing assistant, so I was trained to do it already.
Yeah,
But it's really,
I see.
it was really hard to deal with it because it was my own mother. But I was trying to do the best I could. As long as she knew that I was always there as much as I could, because I was busy with my twins, I always tried to make it to her.
Are you the only one here?
I have a half sister, and I have a brother who's with disabilities who couldn't do what I
Absolutely. Sure, absolutely.
so me as a caregiver / daughter tried the very best that I could to take care of her, you know, like all the stuff that I was trained on. So it was easy.
Your training, I'm sure.
It
your,
was.
Your training and education helped a little,
But it was hard seeing my mom suffer.
of course.
But I always told her that I loved her all the time. I hugged her, and then, you know, when we did that, we both cried. And I always said, stay strong. You know, don't think negative, always think positive. And she would just give me this smirk or this smile or say to me, hi, a day. There are some words that I can't say she would, but but as a caregiver to her, it was a rough but bittersweet moment with her. So, and I wasn't the only caregiver for her. My father too, and my sister, and my brother, who actually flew in for a couple weeks to help out with my mom and spend time. So it was a lot of help. A lot of family support was there
That's
for her.
wonderful. Yes. So she was surrounded by all of you and felt that support and love.
It was, I could see that she was excited to have all her, especially my two brothers who were stationed in the military out there. She was happy for them to be coming home.
Yes.
So she got to see them, some of the grands
Oh, I'm sure the grandchildren
that she
brightened her
never,
spirits.
that she saw when she last saw them. They were little, but there was one that she hasn't seen. Only she saw pictures, but it was happy to her that she saw them in person, and that was like a rewarding for her.
Wonderful. Do you have a special message to those right now, currently, to anyone who might be watching or listening who is a caregiver for someone battling cancer? Do you have any special words of encouragement?
My advice to caregivers, either be your family, a friend, or someone, who you're taking care of, spend a lot of time with them. Tell them, that you love them, that you're there. Let them know that you're there. Not just say it, but show affection,
That's so important.
because it's very, very important so that they know that they can go in peace. But it's also hard because, we had a lot of time, to talk to her, to come visit. But, life is always gets busy, especially when your kids, anybody's kids or grandchildren.
Especially when they're young, they need a lot of attention. I certainly experienced that in my own life.
Yeah, so that's my message. Spend a lot of time, as much as you can with them, because you never know when you're going to lose them.
Absolutely.
So that was my message.
So, Amy, we were talking earlier about a special project that you have that has to do with cancer. Can you share a little bit about that project?
So what I'm doing to dedicate it to my mom, to cancer survivors, to cancer caregivers, and the people who are still fighting, I had adopted a bus stop in honor of those people, and I'm looking for donations, anything like paint, labor hours, anything like a design to go on the bus stop.
That's so exciting. Where is this bus stop?
This bus stop is in Chigo, Back Road Chigo.
Okay.
Close to Upi Elementary.
Okay.
It's the last road on the left before you get to the back gate, and it's on the bus stop on the right. So if anybody who's willing to, lend a helping hand or donate their time or donations like supplies, I would really appreciate it. It goes out to the community, and it would be a nice place to, sit, and for the kids, to just kick back and, wait for the bus or get dropped off.
That's a wonderful way to raise awareness and also honor your mom's memory at the same time. You mentioned earlier that you wanted to maybe put the different colors that signify the different cancers.
So it's, so that way that everybody is being noticed, like not just like my mom, whose color is silver, gray, brain cancer, but it's just for all the different kinds of cancer. Cancer is a bad disease that takes, can take a life. There's some survivors, some fighters, so every color to me, not just my mom's color, is a meaningful message for me.
Yes.
So I wanted to donate that and give back to the community in honor of my mom. So,
that is a wonderful and worthwhile project, and absolutely a wonderful way to raise awareness about cancer. I think that it goes without saying in our community, the more that that we talk about our loved ones who have passed away, the more that we are able to be together and do worthwhile projects together. It keeps their memory alive, but it
Yes.
also is a wonderful way to raise awareness that we're still keeping up this fight against cancer.
Yeah, so that way people can come together and talk about their story or share their story. So that way, everybody
Sure,
has a
absolutely.
similar story.
Right.
So that way we understand what each other's going through. Because it's very hard to keep it in yourself. So there's, I like to talk about it because, keeps my mom's memory alive. And I just, if I couldn't spend time with her before, I'm making up for that time right now and dedicating everything that I try to do for her. So I just hope somebody, can donate and come and help out.
Wonderful. Do you have an email address that you'd like to share for them to reach out to you?
So my email is jus_amy1995 @yahoo.com.
Okay, JUS_MAY1995, the numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
At
Yahoo.com.
yahoo.com. Okay, we'll keep that on as well
Okay.
in case anybody contacts us.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, Amy, time is always so short when we're talking about our loved ones.
Yes.
But I want to thank you for being courageous in your journey as a caregiver. And I look forward to being a part of your bus stop
Okay.
and all the things that you have ahead in this journey with your mom still today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.